Welcome to Getting Real with John Natale. Today we have episode 27 on one of the most important topics I think I'll ever present here on Getting Real, and that is mental health. Today, I'm going to break down the mental health walls. We are going to talk about some great strategies for your mental health. We're going to talk about some things that I do that I think help, and I'm going to share as much as I possibly can because this is one of the most stressful jobs, one of the most stressful careers you could possibly have. All of people's emotions, everything is tied onto your back, and you are responsible for. And when people talk about their home, money, the amount of money it costs, the amount of money it takes to be able to be a homeowner or just move around, do anything in real estate, it is a lot. And so your mental health takes a toll in this business. And I've been here for 16 years doing this. And damn, I'm not going to let another day go by where I don't share some of the things that I do that honestly help. I'm not some Zen Buddha that never gets stressed, never has anxiety. I'm going to talk about all that. But there's some things that I do to really try to improve my mental health. The door should be open for you in that regard. Before we dive in today, I have to take a minute to thank you for listening to this podcast, for tuning in, for watching anything, digesting the Getting Real experience. Here at our Natale companies, we have a massive mission to redesign the real estate industry. Part of that is this podcast. If you could share this episode, share it with a friend, share it with someone you've been, talking about mental health with, drop it in your social channels, like the episode, rate us 5 stars, whatever you can do. I'm appreciative just for listening, but I'll be even more so if you were able to just share this message with one other person today. If you are a real estate professional here in the state of New Jersey, we have a dynamic real estate company that is growing. We are in the Jersey Shore area in Monmouth County, and we are growing and actively hiring talented people, possibly like yourself. So if you're looking for a change of scenery, you're looking to get into this business, and you're just trying to test out the ropes a little bit, our company could be a perfect fit for you. In the links below, you have all the information you need to schedule an appointment with me and discuss joining our family here at Natale Realtors. If you're an agent in one of the other 49 states, we do have an unbelievable coaching organization. Natale Coaching is changing agents' lives across this country. We are fundamentally changing things on a nationwide scale. You get to keep your company, implement our systems. We are there to help you grow your business and your life. So if you're interested in any way, shape, or form in just discussing your options when it comes to coaching, all the links below have the information on coaching, the pricing that we do. It is a hell of a lot more affordable than anybody else out there that you can find. We've designed it that way so we can reach more people a lot faster, and we're seeing this grow so damn fast. So hit a link below, schedule a completely free discovery call with us to discuss the Natale Coaching platform. So let's dive into mental health today, because this is, like I said in the opening, one of the most important topics in real estate. I probably would have done an episode earlier. However, now just seems like the right time. We're going into another spring market. People are feeling overwhelmed. People are feeling maybe, overwhelmed with the amount of business they have in a good way. And some people are feeling overwhelmed with spectrum. There's a lot of people feeling some rough emotions right now, some rough energy. And mental health in this industry is very, very hard. There is so much put on the shoulders of real estate professionals. You wear so many damn different hats. You're not in a 9-to-5 job. This job is with you at all hours of the day. It is with you on the weekends. It is with you in the nighttime. It is with you at 2 a.m. when you're thinking about something that happened. It is with you at all times. And it is very hard to maintain sound mental health without having some strategies to help you better. I'll be perfectly honest. I have no shame in what I do to help my mental health. There shouldn't be any in any regard. When we discuss mental health in this country, I think one of the biggest issues is we don't look at it the same as our physical health. We'll go to the doctor once a year for a checkup, but damn, there's some judgment made if you go to a therapist once a year just to talk about your mental health. What's up here affects everything else that you have in your body. You could be physically fit, but if you feel like crap 24 hours of the day because your mental health is just struggling, it's going to be really rough being you. You could have all the business in the world. You could have 17,000 closings next week. You could be making $500,000 next month. But if your mental health is struggling, you're not going to be happy. And on the other side of things, like if we're real, like if you're getting by, but your mental health is good, stress is okay, you're probably going to be a lot happier than that person whose mental health is struggling. This could seem above what I could be really discussing with my sphere and my channels right now. However, I genuinely hope over the next decade, the next 5 to 10 years, we view mental health the same way we view physical health. My genuine hope is people have access to the strategies to improve their mental health before their mental health is weighing down on them. I don't have to give you the suicide rates of people in this country for you to know how bad of a problem it is. I don't have to give you the depression statistics of this country for you to know how bad of a problem it is. We all know it is. We all live around it. We feel a lot of it ourselves. If we're being real, all of us feel anxious at times. Many of us feel depression. Many of us struggle with our mental health. And the resources out there honestly kind of suck. So I'm going to offer some strategies in this episode that I can do from my small corner of the world to help you. And again, this might not be your best FSBO script. This might not be your best way to host an open house. It might not be what's going to happen in the market in 2024. But this is really fucking important. And it's something I'm passionate about. It's something that with the agents we have here, we have almost a dozen agents here at Natale Realtors Company. We coach another 25 agents across the country. This is something that I see time and time again that's affecting people. So I'm going to give you all the best strategies that I work with all of these people, whether they're at our company, whether they're at our coaching organization or not. This is what I kind of teach people to a certain degree, and I'm just sharing it with the world. It's completely up to you whether you want to even continue listening. But I know this is really important, and I know it affects our industry, and I'm not going to shy away from the topic. The first thing we have to kind of break down the wall on, if we're all being honest, is that therapy is a really, really good thing for you. I go see a therapist every other week, and I'm not shamed by the fact that I go to therapy. Therapy helps me sort out all the damn thoughts in my head. It gives you the opportunity to just talk and the strategies to help you with your mental health. Like I said, I wish mental health was viewed as physical health. I wish when you have a checkup with a doctor, there's also hey, you're going to have at least a checkup with a therapist. I think most people in this country would do pretty damn well talking some shit out. And not in like it'll make everything idyllic and everyone will be beautiful and nice. It would just help everyone feel a little bit better. It would literally just help everyone feel a little bit better about their situation, about where they are. Because when you start talking to that degree, it helps you. It helps you process all the craziness that's in your head. You don't need to have had the traumatic childhood I've had to have some of the stuff you have going on in your head. Whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's OCD, whether it's, intrusive thoughts, any of these types of things could exist for you with or without trauma in your life. And if you've lived something similar to what I've had or worse, you almost definitely have some of that cocktail in your head. And going to therapy will immensely help you. And in real estate, like when I'm in therapy, it's talking about everything in my life. It's talking about my businesses, my companies, the people I work with. And not in a bad way. It's, talking about my family, struggling with the weight of all of this. And I think you will do a great service for yourself and your family if you feel like mental health is something you want to work on. Find a therapist. And it's never been more accessible, guys. There's telehealth. You can do it virtually. I like to kick it old school now that they're available again and go to an office. Many insurance companies now cover medical or mental health and cover insurance. And if it doesn't, it's still something, maybe you pay out of pocket and they reimburse you. Whatever it is worth the investment. And I think most people, especially those that feel like they should be going, should absolutely leave this podcast and go figure out how to find a therapist. I know a good resource that a lot of people use is Psychology Today. That usually has a good amount of therapists near you. You can just Google therapists near you. You can go on Facebook as an anonymous participant in your town's group and say, hey, you don't have to tell them what your problem is. I'm looking for a great therapist for a female. I'm looking for a great therapist just in general. And you'll get a crap ton of responses. It's never been easier to find a good one. I feel like the gatekeeping of good therapy has been taken down over the last 3 to 4 years. So please go out. It's not that hard to find a good one nowadays. You might not find the perfect one the first time out. You might have to try a couple. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt. But at the same time, once you find the right one, you find the right one and you'll feel a lot better about yourself. Now that we got the sticky therapy subject out of the way. Let's talk about some like day-to-day things that you can do to improve your mental health. And when I say day-to-day, the first thing that comes to my mind all the time is having some damn rhythm to your day. I think so many of us struggle with our mental health, struggle with stress, struggle with anxiety of everything because we have no order to our day. And you don't need to be literally religious to your schedule in the essence of like, oh man, I ran 5 minutes over, so now I'm stressed. However, setting up especially your morning to do things for yourself helps your mental health. So if you really want to start working out, you want to be physical, you want to get those endorphins running through your body early in the day, you need to wake up at a time that allows you to have the time to work out, shower, and get ready before you have to go into whatever your day is. Whether that's taking care of your kids, whether that's getting to the office, whether that's commuting somewhere, whether that's dropping off someone somewhere, going to see your mom, it doesn't matter what it is, you have to build in that time. So having some order to your day means setting an alarm clock, knowing I'm going to wake up at a certain point. I'm going to get these activities done, whatever my morning routine is going to be, before my actual workday starts. One of the most important things in that regard, one thing that I do that's huge is I have my morning routine. We'll go through that. And I have a whole episode about this as well in terms of personal habits. But one of the most important things I do is plan out my day the night before. So I'm not sitting there like at 9 a.m. wondering about what I have to do that day. It's planned out like 7, 8 o'clock the night before. Realistically, I plan my entire week out on Sundays. I have my morning routine each day. And then at night, the night before, I kind of just review, kind of see what else came in, what leads came in, who do I have to contact the next morning, who do I have to do this for, what discovery call just got booked, what all this stuff happened. Who am I meeting with? All that stuff. I review the night before in a real brief 3 to 5 minutes. But planning out your next day, having your power list or your to-do list, whatever you want to call it, done for the next day the night before is really important. Because then you don't wake up in a very stressed, like, oh, what do I have to do today? Your brain, while you're sleeping, subconsciously already is thinking about what you have to do. You're more prepared. You're less stressed. So it's really, really important night before, laying out what you need to do the next day. That day of, you want to have a very solid morning routine. This helps disable stress at a very early point in your day. Because far too many people, especially in this business where you don't, no one's calling you to be at the office at 8 a.m. So unless you have to drop your kids off at school or something, you could wake up at 10. You could wake up at 11, stroll to the gym, get your day started at 1 o'clock. For all I care, it doesn't necessarily matter about the time, but there's no one in this industry that's saying like, hey, you need to be here at this certain point. So building that day in for yourself really helps relieve stress and anxiety because you have some order to your day where, these first 2 hours is when I'm working out, I'm getting ready, I'm doing some other things to help with my mental health. Then I have my work day. I get lunch at this time. I have the other appointments. I have dinner with my family and maybe an appointment later tonight to meet with a buyer. There's some order to that. That doesn't mean things don't drop at the last minute. Oh, the buyer got sick, they canceled, or the house is no longer showing, it's sold. Things are going to happen. Appointments are going to get canceled. You have to reschedule things. Your calendar's still going to be a mess. But having some order to it all really, really helps relieve some stress. Planning it out the day before really, really helps relieve some stress and anxiety and all these different things that affect your mental health. Next up, I'm going to give you a few things that I do personally that I think are really powerful for my mental health that I implore you to try. Nothing you have to do, but I implore you to try adding them into your life. The first one is meditation. So I talk about how I go to therapy every other week, but also I meditate every single day. In the morning, I meditate for 20 minutes, and in the afternoon, I meditate for 10. And you may look at that and say like, oh, here's another one of these jerk-offs that just thinks we can all have time to meditate. Guys, I own several companies. My son goes to half-day pre-K. I have a wife. I have a family I love spending time with. I manage all of this, and I meditate 30 minutes a day. The 30 minutes that I am meditating a day is an investment into the peace of mind that I can gain, the mindfulness I can gain from doing it and practicing it daily in my life. Yep, I even do it on weekends. Sometimes I miss it. I'm not going to lie, it's not 365 days a year, but it's probably 360. And every day I wake up is a morning meditation. Sometimes the afternoons get away. You have a family, you have other stuff going on, that might happen. And I implore you not to say, I'm going to meditate 30 minutes a day like John does, because that's crazy. And that's not where I started. I started with 5-minute meditation in the morning. There's so many different apps out there. There's Headspace, there's Balance, there's YouTube. You just go on YouTube. There's so many different opportunities to just find guided meditations, 5 minutes, start your day with something. Because that will help set your day. It will help set you up with some mindfulness, or if you want to do a different type of meditation, that's fine too. But it will help you set up to realize that your thoughts are your thoughts. They are not real. And that's exactly what I gain from meditation, is the power to realize like the worries that come up in my head automatically that I do not control. They're all there, but they're just thoughts. It's not real. So practicing that in a quiet, dark space in the morning, the afternoon, really, really helps. So I implore you to start somewhere. The next important thing that I do is journal. Every single morning as part of my morning routine, I journal. And my system looks exactly the same. I rate myself on the day before, how the day went from 1 to 10. I write some ups that happened, some good things that happened. I write some downs, some lows where I wasn't the best or where the best things didn't happen. And then I write about my day. And at the end, I write about one thing that I really appreciated about the day before, one thing that I'm feeling really appreciative of in that moment. Again, you could say, oh, it's fluffy stuff. But this stuff helps, guys. It helps keep some order to your day, but it also keeps you in line with your thoughts. And when your thoughts get out of control is when your mental health kind of gets out of control and gets affected, mostly negatively. I utilize a really good app to kind of just check in during the day, not with any sort of meditation or journaling, but it's called the Chill app. And what it basically does is send you reminders just to be mindful in that moment. So whenever I get a notification from Chill, I have 5 come to me per day on my phone, and then it also goes to my watch as well. When I get those, it comes with like a little blurb about like, kind of just like feel what your feet are feeling or like, wait for a few heartbeats, like all different things. But I just take 5 deep breaths and it lets me just come back to earth. No matter where my head was going, when I get that notification, and it's not always perfect. I might be in the middle, I might get one right now as I'm filming this podcast. I'm not going to sit here and do my 5 deep breaths in front of you. That would make probably a funny clip from this. However, it's not about literally like religiously getting the notifications and then doing your deep breaths, but it does help bring you back, brings back some of that mindfulness and peace of mind. Again, this isn't about having perfect mental health. Just like when you look at your physical health, it's not about having the perfect physique, being able to run a marathon every day of your life, but it's working towards improving it so you feel better about your physical health or feel better about your mental health. So the Chill app is a great one to download onto your phone. It's free and it sends you reminders however many you want per day, plus a little, like a Buddha type thing in the morning, or, it could be any quote from a book. It's just really good stuff, really thought-provoking stuff once a day as well. The next important one and the last strategy I'm going to leave you with, and this one is tough for me because I've built so many of my businesses through it, but it's to really limit your consumption of social media. I really want you, especially if you create on social media, to be focused on the creation aspect of things, not the consumption. Consuming social media, I don't care your age, we're seeing it in all these trials that are out there, all these Congress meetings. Like, it is really bad for your mental health. Like, if we're being honest, and this is someone who's built their businesses at this point mostly through social media. We get tons of leads directly through, to buy or sell homes in our area. All of our coaching typically comes through, other than this podcast, if you found me through the podcast, typically comes from my social media content or some of our coaches' social media content. And I understand its importance. However, there's a difference between creating for your mental health and then just strictly consuming. Strictly consuming content when you're not creating yourself puts you always into comparison mode. And that comparison mode affects your mental health. Oh, wow, look at this person looks like an idiot and I'm coming from a judgmental place. It's not going to help your mental health. Oh, wow, that person's really blown up. Must be nice to be them. Now you're comparing yourself in a negative aspect. Not going to help your mental health. So I implore you to really limit your consumption. And if you're going to spend time on social media, spend time diligently researching, like, okay, this is what's working. I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes and that's going to be it. Because far too many of us, let's be real, like far too many of us can go on social media and literally go like, 45 minutes went by. And that's the shit they want, right? It is deeply addictive and is deeply, deeply problematic for your mental health if that's you on a constant basis. So I want you to look at yourself more as a creator than a consumer of content. And the creator side of things isn't easy for your mental health either, because you're literally getting dopamine hits. Like when you wake up in the morning to, 5,000 likes, 1,000 comments, and, 500 new followers, that's a shit ton of dopamine running through you. So it's not easy that way, but at least you're in control of some of it. So the strategies I use when it comes to social media is, one, to obviously limit my consumption down to like when I'm considering a research phase and I time it, and then that's it. And then at the same time, you also want to develop some sort of schedule. Either, like I like to put my phone away at night, so I'll put it in another room. One of the best things you could do if you can afford it is to have a separate phone for all your business. So all your social media, all that stuff can go on there. But I realize it's not in everyone's budget right now. So that would be my biggest suggestion. But at bare minimum, putting your phone away, especially at nighttime when you're supposed to be with your family, you kind of have to separate yourself a little bit unless you have no problem not going on and scrolling through Reels or TikToks or on Facebook or doing anything on YouTube. It's very important to distance yourself. The other big thing I do, and I will leave you with this point, and I think it is amazing for my mental health, as someone who's creates so much, between this podcast, between all the content I create, between just being on social media that much, interacting with my audience, interacting takes up a lot of time and energy. Being able to log out once per week, literally like delete the data, delete everything, delete not the accounts, but like delete the logins. So you can't just jump, it doesn't just jump back into the app. It's not about just, closing the app. It is literally deleting everything, logging off for an entire day, 1 day per week has dramatically helped me. I typically do it on Sundays because that's just usually more of a family day in our household, but it could be different for you. Like if you take off from working real estate every Tuesday to be with your family, it could be Tuesday. It doesn't have to be Sunday. So I post, literally I wake up, I do my one post, I put it out there. If I have content for that day, I literally clear all the data from the app, log off, and I'm done for the day. And I'll either late at night Sunday, maybe right before bed, just check in. But more likely than not, I wait till Monday morning. So for an entire 24-hour period, I am off of social media. And the other thing I'd implore you to do too is if you're going on vacation, if you are someone who creates content as well for your business, or you're just on social media a lot in your business, when you go on vacation, like when we go on vacation, you're not showing someone a house. You might be navigating a deal or something like here and there, but I implore you to also log out of social media when you're on vacation. Give your family, give whoever you're with, or give yourself the peace of mind when you are there. Social media is a great tool, but if we're all being honest, it is not good for our mental health. So I think there's some strategies that I just went over to distance yourself a little bit at night, to log out one day a week. When you're on vacation, be on vacation, because if it is part of your work, it's how I am financially compensated. It is a part of my work. It's a huge part of my business. It drives a lot of my businesses. So for me, if I'm on vacation, logging out is a natural step to say like, okay, that business is done. I did this, as I went full tilt into TikTok this past summer. So I went full tilt. I started June 1st of 2023. We had a vacation planned to go to Orlando, go to Disney with our son in the middle of August of 2023. And I built some, nothing to the degree of what I have now, but I built some up until that point. I did 2 full months. I did 60 days of at least 2 or 3 posts a day, all the way to the end of July. I kept that going up until we went on vacation in the middle of August. And I can't tell you how freeing it was. Like the first day, it's kind of like awkward because you're kind of just hop back to the apps and then you're like, oh, didn't even think about going on TikTok. I didn't think about going on Instagram. I didn't think about going on Facebook. And then naturally, like after a day or two, it gets a little bit freeing. So stepping away from it, if you feel like you're getting consumed from it, log off for a whole weekend. Nothing's going to happen. I got back. Yeah, I had a few messages. I answered them at that point. Yeah, I had thousands of comments to go through and all this stuff. But it took a couple hours of work to kind of just scroll through and see what I needed to answer. It's not going to be the end of the world. You'll be just fine, and your mental health will be a lot better for it. So I know this wasn't the typical episode. I know it's not the typical strategies you hear from me, but I knew this was an important one. I appreciate you for listening. And if there's anything I can do, whether you're in our coaching program or not, if you're feeling like you're having a tough time with your mental health, reach out to me. Honestly, reach out to me, and I will do what I can to help you.